Hey guys, this is Jason Creel, and this is a Lawn Care Life. I wanted to introduce you to somebody who you're probably familiar with, but I've got a special opportunity to interview Brian here with Top Notch Lawn Care, and I just wanted to pick his brain on some stuff and give him a chance to influence my audience. I know a lot of you guys probably follow him already, but anyway, we're just gonna to get his advice. And if you're not following Brian, I'll give you an opportunity to do that later in the video. I'll put a link to one of his videos and a link to his channel so that make sure that you can go check out his stuff. So, all right, Brian. Well, thanks first for being on with me, taking time. As somebody who is on, somebody's on YouTube like you and got a lot of followers, I get asked a lot of questions. What would you say is the question you get asked the most on YouTube?
Probably the biggest one would be how to get more clients.
Okay.
That'd probably be the number one. And, just kind of how to get started, how to get new clients, those type of questions.
Yeah. When somebody asks you how to get new clients, what do you tell? I mean, I know there's a lot of answers, long answers, short answers, but just in general, what's kind of your short answer for it?
My short answer is, there's really not one thing you can do to get clients, in my opinion. A lot depends on your area. A lot depends on kind of the customers that you have at your disposal. So I I'll probably add some follow-up questions as far as kind of, what you're dealing with, what your budget is, things like that. And the first advice I give them is just, tell all your friends, tell all your family, tell everybody that you come in contact with what you're doing, what you want to accomplish, and try to get your name out there that way. And for people that are just starting out and don't have a budget, I try to influence them in doing the stuff that doesn't cost a whole lot. And this is the first thing that I usually recommend. And Facebook, Craigslist. I'm not a huge fan of Craigslist, but it has worked for a lot of people, and it is free, so I try to promote the free stuff first before get into the really high price marketing.
Yeah, I think that's good advice. I talked to somebody the other day, and he was moving to a new area, and he's not even moved there yet. He said, I've already got 10 customers, and it's just family, friends, and 10 may not sound like a lot, but your first 10 are probably going to be the most important, at least getting you going, getting something going. So I think I agree with all that. So tell me about your equipment, your setup. I mean, I've seen some of your videos, so but what kind of equipment are you using?
Mainly walkers. I got 3 walkers right now. I got one GHS walker, which is one with the bagger on the back. I got one 36-inch Exmark stand-on mower, and then we just recently got a 52-inch Skag V-Ride stand-on mower. So, that's gonna be what I'm gonna run with next year. I really don't plan on buying anything new for next year unless I absolutely need it. I think I got a pretty good array of mowers to do a lot of different things, so that's what we're gonna roll with.
What percentage of yards would you say you bag versus what percentage you're mulching or side discharging?
Excuse me. I'd probably say a good half the yards we bag, maybe 60%. And a lot of that's because I have one big contract, and they want me to bag all the fronts, and they're kind of big communities, and they just don't want to deal with having grass and flower beds. They don't want to deal with grass marks on driveways, sidewalks, things like that. So they want me to bag it. So that's kind of what we do.
So on the bag, like for somebody like I'm in Alabama, we don't bag. I mean, we don't stripe anything. So educate me just a little bit on the striping. Will a bag and walker, or a V-Ride, or does they all stripe the same, or is there like a particular mower that you stripe better with? And do you put like a striping kit on it to make them stripe better?
You can put striping kits on mowers, but The walker, it's naturally going to stripe, no matter what you do, especially in the fescue. That's our big grass that we cut here. It's just gonna, I mean, with the walker, what happens is you have the blower inside the walker, which is sucking up all the grass into the back of the walker. Well, what that does is it actually stands the grass up. And then when you go over it, it lays it down. So that's the perfect scenario for striping grass. So it does really well. The Skag, I don't believe there's a stripe kit on there. I haven't put anything on there, but I've only put about 10 hours on my Skag, so I can't really talk personally about it. But I've seen a lot of videos with the Skag. They stripe really well, and I think striping has to do more with the type of grass that you're cutting, the height that you're cutting at, versus the mower.
I got you. I'll share a quick walker mower story with you, just because I've had several myself, and I'm not cutting grass anymore. But those walkers, people say they're fantastic. I like them, and but they have a lot of parts. Things go wrong occasionally. Well, I had one. I never had a new one, so mine always had some issues. Well, one of mine, the blower fan that comes out of that housing and creates all the suction to throw stuff up into the hopper. My blower fan did not have a brake on it, and so when you shut the blades off, disengage the blades, the fan kept spinning, until it just stopped on its own. Well, we were in a hurry one day, and I was not using best judgment, and it was wet. It had been raining. I think that's when we were in a hurry. It started to rain. Grass is wet, and my walker started getting clogged up, and that housing got clogged up. Anyway, it clogged up, and about the fourth time I was getting frustrated. I jump off the mower and reach my hand in there without just not thinking, and anyway, busted. The thing. I'm fortunate to have the rest of my finger back, but anyway, it spins fast. It busts my finger open. I walk to the front. I just bleeding everywhere. I walk to the customer's front porch. I'm bleeding. I'm trying to get in. Anyway, I got lightheaded. Ended up passing out on his front porch, and had to go to the emergency room, get it sewed up. So.
Oh man!
If you get that part, I think after that, I can't remember if I got it fixed or not. But that, to me, that was my worst memory of walker mowers. But
oh wow, yeah, I've actually heard of people doing that, where they get it clogged up and they hop off the mower just really fast and lift it up and stick their hand down in there, and it's just not quite done yet. Spinning, and they stick. Yeah.
That's exactly what I did. So, and it hurt. So
I bet it did.
I think customer, felt sorry for me. They didn't fire me or anything. So, so what, 2018. Yesterday, I don't know if you're a New Year's resolution kind of guy or setting goals for your business, but just in general, do you have anything new on the horizon in 2018, whether in your own business or on your YouTube channel or whatever?
I actually have a lot of goals in my mind. I didn't really write any goals down, but my whole thing for this year, the thing I want to do the most is I want to try new things. That's kind of my motto this year. I'm going to try new things with the YouTube channel. I'm going to try new things with my business. And my main focus, like I said, is to do things that I've never done before. So, actually have a paper job that I'm going to be doing at my house here in another week or so, and I'm going to be doing just a sidewalk, just kind of a little entryway kind of paper job, and then we want to put a fire pit in the backyard, and those are the type of things that I want to try, I want to do, and just to kind of get some experience, and I may find out if I like it. My biggest thing is I want to offer more services. I want to do more things. And, I feel like that, you have two options. Either you can go and work for somebody and learn how to do this stuff, or have somebody show you whatever, however you want to work that out, or you can try and learn it on your own. And I'm at the point now to where this is stuff that I've wanted to do for a long time now. So I'm just going to jump right in, and I'm going to try it and see what happens.
Yeah, that's exciting. I think, I tell people all the time the mowing, is your steady income, that sort of thing. But I do think it's smart sometimes to diversify. If you could get into building those outdoor fire pits and things, you're talking about maybe stuff that can help you in the wintertime and just diversify and set you apart a little bit from your competition. Let's see. What advice do you give? And we talked about just from a marketing standpoint, but it seems like a lot of people that follow us on YouTube, there are a lot of newbies and starting out, and there's nothing wrong with that. They're seeking out the advice, but just in general, what advice do you give people? Because I see, I try to be a voice against this. There's a lot of negativity about the lawn business. That just some people that were in it and had a bad experience got out. They're kind of the voice of negativity, like run the other way. And I don't necessarily agree with that, and I try to emphasize the positive. I tell people all the time, it's not a bad business. Some people don't. It doesn't work for everybody, but it's not the business's fault. They're not running the business right. The industry is a humongous industry. But anyway, long question. But what kind of advice do you give people starting out outside of the marketing things we've already touched on?
For me, the biggest thing is, I'm a big proponent of you get out of anything what you put into it. So, if you're starting a business and you don't put forth your best effort, then the results probably isn't going to be what you want. So, jump in with both feet. There's a lot of work that goes into having a business. And this is something that I didn't know when I first started, or I didn't realize is, I thought it's lawn care. You're cutting yards. How hard can it be, right?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things that go into running a business and doing things the right way that, most people don't talk about, most people don't share. But there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff and a lot of work that, you have to do that you're necessarily not getting paid for, but it has to be done. So, when you're first starting out and you're first starting a business, whether it's lawn care, whether it's whatever the case may be, you have to put forth, you have to give it everything that you have. If you want to succeed, you have to. You can't have shortcuts. You can't beat around the bush. You have to go right in there, give it everything you got, or the results just aren't going to show for you.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I see people. There's always people that jump in and don't last a year or two, and that's what I tell people. You can always find a good zero-turn mower that's got 50 hours on it from the guy who started last year and didn't make it, and that happens. But I think I've started, I guess, 3 businesses. I've always take this kind of survivor's mentality the first year, like you say. You just surviving, and then. Second year. And then you talk about all the behind the scenes stuff. Sometimes that's actually what sets apart the successful ones from the not successful. Not necessarily that they know how to run a string trimmer better than somebody else or drive a walker with one hand or, whatever.
Yeah.
I guess everybody drives a walker with one hand. I did have a guy one time, he had both hands on it. I thought, this guy does not know how to drive a walker. When they reach down and grab both those handles like it's a zero-turn mower, I was like, not good. After they tell you how much experience they have. What are you doing different now than your first year in business? Like you start off, you're surviving, you're making it, but what if now that you've gotten smarter and better and more established, what are you doing differently?
Well, I know my numbers different now. I know what I need to make per day. I know how to price jobs now. I know how to actually make a profit when I bid a lawn care job. When I first started, you're kind of guessing. You really don't have a formula to what you're doing, and you just like I said, you don't know your numbers, so you're just throwing prices out there, and some yards you're making a profit, some yards you realize you're not. And, you go through the natural progression of learning from your mistakes, and you start realizing that, okay, well, this price isn't getting it done, so I need to charge this price on this kind of yard. And then you start seeing that you're actually making a profit. And I think that's the biggest difference for me is just kind of learning from my mistakes on pricing, especially like the bigger jobs, the cleanups, all that kind of stuff. Because when you first start out, you're thinking, $300. I only spent 2 hours there, but you didn't calculate your dump fee and your all the kind of stuff that you just don't think about. All you think when you're first doing this stuff, you're just thinking about, okay, this customer is going to give me this amount of money, and you're not thinking about, well, on the back end, all the money that's actually going to come out of that, taxes, dump fees, mileage, gas, all that kind of stuff. So to me, that's the biggest thing for me, is kind of realizing what actually goes in to pricing a job.
Yeah, that makes sense, because I think that's part of the whole idea of, most of us have been an employee at some time in our lives, and you think, well, if I'm making $60 an hour or $75 an hour, what you think, that just sounds great, but sometimes $75 an hour may or may not be enough, depending on the job. So I think that learning the numbers is good advice. All right, almost done here. Got a few more. What would somebody gain from following you on YouTube? Just sort of, what's your channel about? Give us a little pitch as far as what would somebody benefit from following you on YouTube?
Well, my channel, I joke about this a lot, but it's actually true, that I'm kind of the guy, I'm going to show you what not to do a lot of times, because I make a lot of mistakes on my channel, and just a lot of mistakes in business, and I'm not afraid to show you where I messed up, and I'm not afraid to say that, this didn't work out the way I planned it. But in my opinion, that's how people learn. People learn by failing. People learn by watching other people fail. And I get a lot of comments that, that kind of preach that, I've learned from you because I've learned from your mistakes, that kind of stuff. So, for me, I try to be as real as I can be. I try to be as honest as I can be. Obviously, there's numbers and stuff that I'm just not going to give out. But for me, it's just kind of the day-to-day aspects of running a lawn care business and what it all entails. And that's just kind of the way I've approached my channel, and that's the way I want to keep it. I want to help as many people as I can. And, the more I learn the business, the more I'll be able to give sound advice and not just learn from my mistakes. So I'm hoping to be able to continue doing that.
Yeah, I would say some of your transparency and just being kind of down to earth seem like the kind of guy that people can relate to is what attracts people to follow you on YouTube. Sometimes that, because that's, most people are, everybody makes mistakes and is just willing to share that and what's working, what's not working. Of course, you can't tell everything on YouTube, but for the most part, being transparent, people can relate to that.
Yeah.
Couple of non-lawn care questions, and then we'll end. What are some hobbies you do when you're not at work?
I used to have a lot of hobbies. I don't really much anymore because it's just not a whole lot of time for hobbies. But I love to golf. I don't get out near as much as I used to. I think I might have golfed twice this whole year, 2 rounds. I used to play 2 or 3 times a week before I started my business. I really like to fish. Same thing. Just don't get out as much as I used to. But those are the kind of hobbies that I like. I like any kind of sport activity. I like playing basketball, baseball, football, whatever. I'm getting a little too old for that kind of stuff, so that's kind of why I fell into golf. Yeah. It's a little bit more relaxed and whatever, but that's the kind of stuff I like to do. Obviously my family, my kids, we got things that we do. We like to go to the park and just, throw frisbees around, whatever, fly the drone, just kind of do stuff like that. So
yeah. And last question, what's your, you say you like sports and hobby. I'm kind of the same way. What's your favorite sports team that you follow?
I'm a Kansas Jayhawk through and through. This is my favorite time of the year, college basketball. I don't much get into college football, but college basketball is my thing. I'm a big Chiefs fan as well. I'm 3 hours away from Arrowhead Stadium, so I'm a big Chiefs fan. So this time of year right now is like I love it because it's the off season for lawn care. I can kind of follow my Jayhawks. I got the Chiefs in the playoffs, and it's going to be a fun next few weeks.
Yeah, I'm afraid the Chiefs might be one and done, but they are in. Well, Brian, I appreciate the time. What I'm going to do to the people watching, I'm going to put a link to one of Brian's videos that you can click on and find him that way. Also in the description, I'll put a link to his channel so you can just go check out his channel homepage and subscribe there. And but anyway, I think this is the kind of informative stuff that'll benefit people. You know, they hear from me on my channel all the time. They hear from you on your channel all the time. Sometimes it just have a fresh voice. You know, gives somebody a different exposure, and I'm glad to hear that we think alike, at least on most of the areas.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. This was a lot of fun. I love doing kind of interviews like this, and you know, I've watched your channel for a long time, and to finally get to meet you and talk with you, it's been a good time. And here pretty soon we'll have you on my channel, and we'll talk about some application stuff.
That sounds great.